Welcome to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I mock it, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. Got a great one for you today. First, got to give a special thanks to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring today's video, but we're heading over to NFL.com, taking a look at Lance Zierlein and his new mock draft. This might be actually his first mock draft of draft season, so hell yeah, let's go ahead and get into this sucker. Starting with the Tennessee Titans, and they go Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. But this is going to be this is going to be the only pick as long as Tennessee holds the first overall pick. I know that they say, hey, they want to spend that first pick. If there's a generational talent there, then they're going to send it and go for it. Hot take. Some people might not think that there's a generational talent in this draft class. Some people might consider Abdul Carter. Some might consider Travis Hunter. But I think if you're the Titans, you got the first overall pick. If you're not trading out of it, you're probably going to stick it and pick it and take a swing for the fences to, well, get away from the Mayo man. And Cam Ward's got the tools, man. He's got the tools. But let's see what happens at number 2. I can take a wild guess. It's probably Abdul Carter. The Cleveland Browns are going to indeed go with Abdul Carter, edge out of Penn State. I mean, dude, Myles Garrett, he wants out. He's like, hey, trade me to a freaking contender. I'm spinning my wheels. I'm wasting my time here. I've given you everything that I am. Let me go be happy somewhere else. And he deserves it. Been hella good for a long time. But Abdul Carter, I think he's easily the best pass rusher in this class, best edge rusher in this class. I don't think you're going to see many people that have a edge player over him. No Mike Green, no Shamar Stewart, no Mikael Williams, so on and so forth. This was his first year playing exclusively edge, though they did get a little fun with him sometimes and would set him up at like middle linebacker or have him rush from a variety of different spots. But he looked hella good, man. And to me, it only gets better from here. Before we get to pick 3, though, I got to give a shout out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. You head there right now, download the app, sign up using promo code Broshmo. They match that first deposit up to $1,000. We got the big game coming up this weekend, or we're knee deep in basketball season. If you love pick'ems, taking player stats higher or lower, then Underdog is for you, my friend. But if you do sign up, remember the promo code Broshmo. Tell them who sent you. But as always, play responsibly and play within your means. All right, we're here at pick 3, the New York Giants, and they're going to go with Travis Hunter, corner/wide receiver out of Colorado. Now, this would be a pick I would make, right? Just give me the best player on the board. We'll figure out quarterback somewhere along the way. However, Joe Shane, Brian Dable, the ownership ain't happy. They're downright pissed off. They're done sucking. I hear you. I feel you. So this might be your last shot. Brian Dable hasn't had the option of drafting a quarterback since arriving there in New York. I might take the swing on Shedeur Sanders, hoping that he could potentially save my job. I would also hope to bring in maybe a veteran quarterback to battle it out. I would just try to stack the cards in my favor of something hidden and me prolonging my stay, my residency in New York. And unfortunately, I feel like Brian Dable is in a situation where he will be, so to speak, planting trees. He knows he's not going to get to sit under the shade of. That's just kind of where it's at. He's going to be drafting guys that he will not get to develop. It's a crappy situation. I like the idea of taking Travis Hunter, whether he's a wide receiver, a corner. Those are, in my opinion, corner a bigger need than obviously wide receiver. You got Malik, you got Wandale, but I would swing on the Heisman Trophy winner. But it's a crappy situation. Pick 4, we have the New England Patriots taking Will Campbell, offensive lineman out of LSU. If you're the Patriots, your offensive line needs a lot of help. You want to protect your investment. That is Drake May. Will Campbell will do that. Listen, straight up, he's a great football player. Whether he's playing guard or tackle, I think it's going to work out with him. And I think maybe a lot of the NFL will see it that way, even if you don't know exactly which position he'll end up playing. I get the pick. I might, if I'm the Patriots, I think I'm going to go heavy in the offseason, heavy in free agency, and then just take the best player here, whether that's a Will Johnson, a Travis Hunter, a Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, so on and so forth, Tetro McMillan and such. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's right. I said Jaguars. I don't care. At me in the comment section. They're going to take Will Johnson, corner out of Michigan. This is like my favorite pick for the Jags. You get to pair him up with Tyson Campbell. Will Johnson didn't exactly have a great year. It wasn't because of his play on the field. He was still stellar. The dude had like 2 pick sixes this season. It's because of injury. As long as everything checks out at the combine, I see no reason to not take him in the top 5. There's my opinion. The Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to go with Shedeur Sanders. This one makes all the sense in the world. If he lands here, I think I'm starting to sell myself on the Raiders having Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited, as their quarterback. It's because of Pete Carroll. I'm sorry, it's because of Pete Carroll. That's why. But they're also not going to be in range, or at least it doesn't feel like they're going to be in range for one of the top 2 quarterbacks. After that, it's a very steep drop off. This is considered a very mediocre quarterback class, so it's not one the Raiders probably want to find themselves traded up to go get a guy if they like him. But if he makes it here to 6, I would say send it in, run it in, take a shot on Coach Prime's kin, the the treasure from his loins, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, and you have an offensive line that's up and coming. Now you just got to add some playmakers around him. You already got Brock Bowers. Jacoby Myers is actually a nice option as well. And you could add via the draft. You could add via free agency. Pick 7. It's going to be the New York Jets, and they go Ashton Genty. What? Porque? Okay, they go running back out of Boise. I'm going to read this. The analytics community won't like this pick, but so be it. The Jets have a stagnant attack, and Breece Hall has not reached 1,000 yards rushing in any of his 3 seasons. I'm not going to say that's entirely his fault. I don't think that's the case. Genty provides an instant adrenaline to the offense, creates buzz in Aaron Glenn's first season as head coach. Listen, this ain't the Jahmyr Gibbs pick. That's all I'm saying. Because you had an offensive line that was freaking phenomenal, was insane with the likes of Penny Sewell, Taylor Decker. They had Ragnow and Glasgow and company there on the interior. So it's like they had one of the best offensive lines of football. You can't say that about the Jets. Like, they got nice parts in Boshnu and Elijah Vera Tucker. But that's about it. Tippmann, you're still kind of like waiting to see. Like, can you be a top half of the league starting center? You also got Simpson, who's fine. So it's like, yeah, you're probably better than a chunk of the league. It's not the same situation. I got so frazzled I nearly knocked my headphones off. Oh, Zerline, what the hell are we doing here? Oh man, Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State, going to the Carolina Panthers. Oh man, dude, I'm glad I checked out this mock. This is Zerline, you're my kind of people. I want to see something different. This is different. Okay, I'm gonna read this one too. Bryce Young's turnaround has given life to the Panthers, but they still need more help. Warren can become the perfect safety blanket for the third-year quarterback. I don't disagree. We saw some good things from Javion Sanders, but I mean, that doesn't mean you can't keep adding talent. I feel like Tetro McMillan could also be in the run in here. If you're looking to help Bryce Young, add more talent around him. I kind of like the idea of going defense because the defense is just, whoa, gosh, awful. I'll just say that. But wow, man, I like this because it's a pick that I haven't seen anywhere else. You've got my intrigue. You like the NFL draft. Matter of fact, you love the NFL draft, which means you're going to love my draft guide. If you want to know every player your team drafts or even signs as an undrafted free agent, then this is for you. My draft guide updates every day, and you'll be able to see those updates in real time as I add new evals and player backgrounds. It'll have analytics from this year and last year. It'll have the pro day and combine numbers. It'll even have my notes from the senior and Shrine Bowl. It's a one-time purchase of $30 via PayPal, Venmo, or the Cash App. You can check out the pinned comment or the description if you want to follow those links. And when you do purchase it, please be sure to include your email because it is a Google spreadsheet. So I'm going to require email. Don't make me hunt it down because I will hunt you down. I will find you and I'll make sure you get your money's worth. Anywho, thanks for supporting the channel. Then here at pick 9, the New Orleans Saints select Mikael Williams, edge out of Georgia. And after being excited with these last two picks, Zerline goes plain Jane. Williams is a very popular pick to the New Orleans Saints. He kind of fits the criteria of what Dennis Allen and company liked to bring in, these bigger, thicker edge defenders who are really good at stopping the run. We've seen it with guys like Foskey and Turner who just haven't developed. You're doing it with a guy with much more tools. With Mikael Williams, like, guys got God-given talent. It's just that potential hasn't matched his production as of yet. So it's kind of wait and see. I get people are going to be much higher on Mikael Williams because of the tools, and I get it with NFL coaches. Just they love tools, and if they can convince themselves that they can develop those tools, they'll take a shot on those tools. Just saying. Chicago Bears are going to go with Kelvin Banks Jr. tackle out of Texas. Hook 'em horns. I'm a big fan of Kelvin Banks Jr. He's currently kind of 1A to my 1B as offensive tackle 1. And to be fair, I would say like Josh Simmons is also in that race. We'll see if he can. I don't know if he's going to be far enough removed from the ACL injury to actually participate in the combine or a pro day. We'll see. We'll find out. I don't think it'll happen, but like if he played out the year, man, he'd be in that argument, right? Because one thing he's got going his way is ideal size for the position, size and length. Those aren't concerns with Simmons as it is with Will Campbell. Kelvin Banks, he got a little shorter. The footwork, is he going to be able to survive on an island? I feel like he can, but other people have those questions. I get the Bears going offensive line though. And with Ben Johnson here, he's probably like, yeah, we need to get the offensive line spick and span. Like, this ain't going to fly. Not from where I came from. This offensive line ain't going to fly for me. Pick 11. Oh my gosh, I forgot Mason Graham was still on the board. What the heck? All right, this is steal. 49ers running in as far as what I've heard from my comment section, because I just released my top free agents video and I included Javon Hargrave, and I thought it was because his contract was up because they just stacked a bunch of void years, but apparently he's going to be cut. Again, feel the need to correct me. It's just what I've been told by my comment section. So feel the need to correct me. Regardless, the Niners, I think, want to go trenches. And if the board fell like this, run the pick in, for goodness sake. Okay, any surprise picks that could be? Because, again, totally forgot Graham was still on the board. I think Tetairoa McMillan is still on the board, so that's going to be something to watch out for. The Dallas Cowboys, they're going to go Walter Nolan, so to hell with Tetairoa McMillan. Oh, man. So they're going to lose Osa Odighizuwa. Sounds like he's going to make a bank. At least that's what the projected contract is. It's like 4 years, north of 80 million. They're not paying that. They could bring in Walter Nolan, which I think would be a phenomenal replacement. I loved what he looked like at the Senior Bowl. He was faster, stronger than almost everyone there. I think he's a top 20 pick. Some people might at me at that, and it's like, well, okay, whatevs. Like, I've had this dude as a top 20 pick for a few months now. All he did was solidify that. If not, I just want to just like push him higher up the board. I can see him going to the Cowboys here. Though Tet on the board here, it's kind of hard to pass up. All right, let me just make sure. Did I just miss Tetairoa McMillan somewhere? Okay, no, we hate Tet. Okay. Zerline, we hate Tet. Got it. Let's move on. This is my Miami Dolphins. They're going to go with Jalen Walker. Linebacker / edge. More so an edge. Out of Georgia. I've brought this up that the Dolphins could go edge. Bradley Chubb's coming off the injury, missed all of last season. If they're looking for some cap relief, he could be a post-June first cut. You got Jalen Phillips, back-to-back season-ending injuries. So you're just looking at Chop Robinson there on the edge. Walker, he's very versatile. Add him to this crew. I'm sure Anthony Weaver would be ecstatic. So to me, the fit makes sense. It really does. Okay, we got the Indianapolis Colts taking Armand Membu. Guard. He's listing him as a guard. He has him listed as offensive interior out of Missouri. I get it. The dude's built like a guard, but he's got long arms. He might be one of the most athletic guys in this class along the offensive line. Will Freeze is a free agent, but I feel like they got some like quality players on that offensive line that could at least, step up. Because, I mean, they got their guy and waiting in Tanner Bortolini. They also list him as a guard. Okay. He's the center. He's the center moving forward after Ryan Kelly. They have Matt Gonclaves, who has played guard, and they've seen some good things from. So I don't think it's not where I would want to go. Probably be looking at that defense. I know Colts fans love Tyler Warren here, and that's fine. I get it. He's a great prospect, but certainly an interesting pick. The Atlanta Falcons are going to go with Mike Green, edge out of Marshall. I like this one a lot. I think Mike Green's probably going to go somewhere in the top 20. Does he sneak into the top 10? It's possible. Maybe not likely, but it's possible. Atlanta's a really good spot. This is a team desperate for pass rush. Honestly, I look at it and I'm like, I don't care who, just give me a pass rusher. It's a great class. Arizona Cardinals are going to go with Tyler Booker, guard at Alabama. I hear the NFL's really high on him, and they should be. He's really good. I haven't seen him go this high at a mock. I believe, you could always correct me, but I don't think I've seen him go this high in a mock. I've seen him typically in the 20s, like around Houston's pick and such. I've seen him to go to the Vikings a couple of times as well. But I get it. The Cardinals, Will Hernandez is going to be a free agent, so it kind of makes sense in that regard, but I'm still thinking defense. I get it. The defensive line class is stacked. You could address that on day 2. This does feel a little early for Booker, but maybe in the next couple of months, he'll be someone that also skyrockets up boards. Cincinnati Bengals take Tetairoa McMillan. He ain't making it here. I just don't see it. I know some people don't like Tet as a prospect, but I think those people are kind of few and far between. This would be a great fit. You're losing T. Higgins. I'm pretty sold on T. Higgins is playing somewhere else next year because they still got to pay Jamar Chase. That's just a lot of guys. That's a lot of mouths to feed money to. It is. Replacing him with Tet is hella interesting. And you got Jamar Chase there. It's like, that's wild. I mean, the defense, they're drowning. They desperately need some help. But Tetairoa McMillan's on the board, man. I mean, best player available. You could almost never go wrong with that. Hey, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. If these NFL teams are going to let value slide right to you, I think you take that value. Pick 18. Seattle Seahawks are going to go with Luther Burden. Okay. wide receiver out of Missouri. Burden can take over for Tyler Lockett if the team parts ways with him. I'm also going to be talking about potentially DK Metcalf as a potential trade target in a video later this week. But Tyler Lockett, if they don't restructure him, I mean, moving off of him makes a ton of sense because he's due a lot of money. Luther Burden's an interesting fit here. Not exactly the fit I foresee. Who is the current? Who do they bring in as OC after they gave Grubb the can? Oh, Clint Kubiak. Oh, this is actually a Clint Kubiak guy. I'm going to reel back. I'm going to take back somewhat of what I said. I actually really like this considering who's the OC now. All right, pick 19. Nick Gordon going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They take edge. Who would have thought? They're going to be in the discussion for like a Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, if he ends up getting traded, maybe Max Crosby. His name's been out there since like the trade deadline. So like they're going to be in the market for an edge. If they don't get it via trade, they're probably going to get it via the draft. Whether that's the first, second, maybe even probably not third. They did that with Chris Braswell, but probably in the first 2 rounds, they're going to address it. I like Nick Gordon. Hopefully a strong combine from him reminds everybody why people loved him coming into the year. It was kind of like he had a fine season at Texas A&M, but like it wasn't up to what he did at Purdue the following like year prior. A lot of that had to do with he put on weight. He was asked to put on weight. He was very sure as a run defender, but I think it did come into the expense of like his get off and whatnot. But like his playing weight at Purdue was like about 10 pounds lighter. So I'd like to see him shed that weight and come to the combine explosive. Denver Broncos are going to go with Colston Loveland. This is also a very popular pick. If there's no Ashton Genty, if there's no Tyler Warren available, I feel like you're going to have Sean Payton look at Colston Loveland and be like, man, we put 20 pounds on this dude. It's Jimmy Graham all over again. And I loved that guy. So yeah, you're invested in Bo Nix. You're getting more pass catchers. I like that. Pittsburgh Steelers go with Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas. Listen, if you're not high on Golden right now, you better get high on Matthew Golden. Not anything else, but Matthew Golden was nice. He was the alpha at Texas. He supplemented Isaiah Bond after he got hurt. And like Gunnar Helm was a good safety blanket, but Golden was the guy making the big plays. He's just a great route runner. Knows how to basically squeeze the cushion between him and the corners. He's very crafty in the stem and also at his breaks. He knows how to tempo his routes. He's a very crafty route runner. But sounds like he's going to test out really well. So Steelers, I get it. Y'all do wide receiver day 2, but you always find some kind of crazy person on day 2, and they're fine for a couple of years, and then freaking the wheels come off the track. Los Angeles Chargers, pick 22. They're going to go with Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan. The Chargers do need like kind of a big, meaty, hefty defensive lineman there on the interior. Jim Harbaugh obviously has a rapport with Kenneth Grant. He was a guy that recruited Grant. So I like it, man. I like it. Grant, another guy who's just big and explosive, man. Big and explosive. Green Bay Packers are going to take Shamar Stewart, edge out of Texas A&M. Now, he is, a lot of people are talking about him for sure, first rounder. Sounds like he's going like top 20, top 15 even. Like the buzz after the Senior Bowl around him, there was a lot. There was a lot of buzzing. People love the size, the length, the strength, and the athleticism. They're hoping, and again, I talked about it earlier, NFL coaches, NFL coaching staffs, they look at guy with extraordinary tools and they're like, you know what? It's not all together there just yet, but we have confidence in our ability to develop him. So, Stewart, I think he goes higher than this. Packers also talking with that franchise guy. It seems like he feels the coaching staff is really in on the players that they have along the defensive line, that they just need to do a better job developing those guys. So this could be a corner pick here. Kind of like the idea of that as well. We haven't seen a corner come off the board recently. And as I say that, Jahdae Barron goes to the Minnesota Vikings. I love Jahdae, man. I don't know if this is going to be necessarily a Brian Flores guy. I have my doubts, but I also had my doubts in Barron kicking outside to the boundary. And what did he do? He won the Jim Thorpe Award. He was a playmaker, but he is a very off-coverage, zone-heavy guy. Not exactly a fit for Brian Flores, but they see something in him. They can make it work. He's a guy that can work inside and out. Maybe you don't bring back Byron Murphy. Instead, you replace him with the Jahdae Barron. Could be. Okay, who's at 25? We got the Texans. They go Emeka Egbuka at Ohio State. Listen, man, he is your vegetables. He is your collard greens, man. He is just good to have. He is, I think, a high-end wide receiver too for a team that has, well, it has Nico Collins, Tank Dell. We're not going to see him for a little bit as he's rehabbing from it wasn't even just a dislocated knee. It was a variety of, I think he tore a variety of things just in that freak injury for a touchdown, mind you. And then they lose Stephon Diggs. So Emeka Egbuka, a guy that can work inside and out, just be a consistent chain mover, I think is a good fit. He also has a rapport with CJ Stroud back at Ohio State. So there's a lot to like about this pick. Los Angeles Rams go Josh Connerly Jr., tackle out of Oregon. I think he's a great fit for Sean McVay if they decide not to bring back Alaric Jackson. And even if they do, maybe if they're looking to move on from Rob Havenstein, he's getting up there in years. Like, there's options there. Like, tackle is definitely on the table for the Rams. Pick 27. The Ravens go with Nick Emmanuel, safety out of South Carolina. I mean, you're not just pairing him up with Kyle Hamilton, but like you got Ardarius Washington there. I think he's a restricted free agent. I imagine they match whatever offer gets thrown at him, or maybe he's an exclusive rights free agent. I can't remember. He's one of the two, but I mean, this was a team that did like playing three safety sets. They've had to go back to Marlon Humphrey, kicking inside in the slot. Maybe if you just like, you're losing Brandon Stevens, so maybe just have Humphrey play outside majority of the time. You bring in Emmanuel and like him and Washington and Hamilton. You could literally rotate anywhere in that secondary. I don't hate this pick. I really don't. Because I can see the vision. But Josh Simmons is still on the board. You got to replace Ronnie Stanley. Detroit Lions, they're going to go with... Oh, man, I have yet to get the pronunciation down for his name. It's like Azariah Thomas. Corner from Florida State. He had an interesting Senior Bowl. One that was many people disagree on because I thought he was a little rough the first day and a half, and then he really put it together and had a strong, especially day 3. I thought he had a really strong showing. Some people feel he just blew it out of the park the whole week. I don't think so, but like for me, I think Tom's a good player. Maybe you could talk about him fringe top 50. I'm not there with him. I'm just not. I don't think the testing's going to be phenomenal, but he did a good job on day 3 of the practice, like staying in phase, using his physicality. It felt like he really figured out the opposing wide receivers. I thought he had a solid week. And I get it, the Lions, you got Carlton Davis. He's a free agent. Ennis Rakestraw Jr., I think he had a hamstring injury, so he didn't really play much of the year. So you're going to be looking for someone on the outside, especially since you're probably not going to bring back Carlton Davis. So I get the pick, but I mean, you're doubling up at corner in back-to-back years. It's not a fun place to be. You'd much rather this be like defensive line or maybe even guard. But I mean, there's no denying corner is a volatile position. I don't hate the pick. I don't. The Washington Commanders, they're going to go with Josh Simmons. He finally comes off the board. And, oh, look, a little clarity here. Okay, this is what I've been... I can't say this is what I've been looking for because I've had a lot of other things going on with trying to get videos out and getting my draft guide together and whatnot. But, so he's currently rehabbing from a season-ending knee injury, but apparently plans to be cleared for training camp. So, again, yeah, won't take part in the off-draft process. I thought it was a long shot anyway. Goes to the Commanders, which I think is kind of nifty. He's someone that you know can play both sides, both right and left tackle. Did it right tackle at San Diego State, and then left tackle the last 2 years with Ohio State. I think he's got the skill set to be able to kick into guard, though I don't think you want to do that. Kind of like it. Maybe you could start him off at right tackle because it kind of depends on how they feel about Brandon Coleman and his development. I think he had a solid year. For a third rounder, for me, it's been pretty encouraging. And if you just want to get more protection for Jay and Daniels, I'm not against it. Buffalo Bills, they're going to go with Trey Harris. Wide receiver out of Ole Miss. Apparently Gojo doesn't like the pick. Scrapping in my door, but people think I hate Trey Harris. I don't. I was one of the biggest fans of Trey Harris for the last 2 years. But he has been slowed by injury in consecutive years. I don't think he's an elite level athlete. So if I'm taking a shot on a guy, because let's be honest, his ceiling's probably like a Nico Collins, which is pretty darn good. But we're talking ceiling here. If I'm taking a shot on him, I'd rather take that shot on day 2 than in the first round. I don't think he's going to be an alpha wide receiver, but again, he can prove me wrong. At the end of the day, I'm hoping all these players succeed. When I say I don't like a player, I'm hoping to eat my words. I really am. Again, I want to see all these guys succeed. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to go with James Pierce Jr., edge out of Tennessee. Again, man, you either love him or you think he's a back end of the first round guy. Me, I love James Pierce, big fan. If he makes it here, be absolutely phenomenal. I think he's the most explosive pass rusher in this class. He does need to continue to add to his frame, but I thought he made some improvements as a run defender. This would be a good pick for Philly, man. This would be a good pick. They do a great job of getting value wherever they're at. And then with the last pick, the Kansas City Chiefs take Talik Williams, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. You got Wharton, Tershawn Wharton. He's a free agent. He's a free agent. You really just have Chris Jones on that interior. And if you get to add probably the best run defender in this class, who has the upside to be a really good pass rusher, I think you go ahead and do it. Send it. Give Spag more toys, man. Give Spag more toys. So yeah, this feels like kind of a safe pick. It's not a sexy pick. I think it's a hell of a good pick, though. Really do. But that's it for the mock draft. You go ahead in the comments section below. Let me know what you think. I thought there were a lot of surprising picks, and I had a good time with it. I'm glad I went over this for a video. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.